I keep it 100, like boarded in the streets, but especially when recording. Mint tea and a spliff in the morning, then I beat up the beat like doors to a Mormon. Mama said the devil find works for bored men and leave trouble only white men can afford them. I try to put my focus on the Lord then, but like Hocus, I was back up in the Trojan. Wanna invest in the future? You should let me sign a big.
So what are you saying now?
Okay, so whenever I'm listening to music, I keep it at a certain level as well, because my ears are really sensitive. So because it's like half of my instrument, I need to be able to hear myself. My ears are like very fine-tuned and they're very, very sensitive.
But how can you like hear yourself? Because I feel like okay, there's people who cannot sing at all, horrible, but they feel like they're very good. Like, have you ever watched American Idol?
Yeah.
I used to die back in the days. Like, you can't tell them they can't sing.
Of
you know what I'm saying?
course.
So like, you're saying like, how could they not hear themselves? Because you're saying you hear yourself.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have a good voice?
Yeah.
How do you know you have a good voice?
Because I can distinguish what's off key or not. Like I know, or what's flat or not, or sharp.
Is that because your grandma trained you on that, or that just sound that you develop naturally?
You have to have that naturally.
Natural ear.
You have to have that naturally. If your voice is kind of lacking, and you can still hear yourself and know when you're going off or not, you can train your voice, but you can never train your ear. You can never train your ear to hear.
That's deep. You could train your voice, but you can never train your ear.
Yeah. Like, you could be, like, lacking in breathing techniques, and maybe the notes aren't coming out the way you want them to, but you can't train hearing.
So, can you train a non-singer to be a singer, though?
Not if they can't hear if they're off-key.
So, it's all about the hearing.
Yeah.
If they can hear, you can.
It's the most important part. Because, like, then they won't be able to distinguish what is on key or what's off key, you know? But if I go off, like, I know that that's off.
That was off just now.
Yeah, like, if I make a weird noise, like, I know that it's going to be off.
No, for sure.
You know? So.
That's sick. You taught me something still. So how would somebody know if their hearing is off or not?
If they're singing a song and, let's say, they know, like, I would say purposely go off key. Like, that's what I would do, really. Like, when I was, like, trying to figure out, like, do I have an ear for it? Or am I just like, oh, I think I'm great, but everybody else is saying I'm great, but I'm really not?
Yeah.
Because people lie.
For sure.
So I would say,
like,
go to a mom or something and be like, hey, like, am I good? But people lie.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I do the, like, self-trained test. So I sing a song and then I go off key on purpose. And I'm like, that was off key. I know that that's off key. So I'm able to tell.
That's sick. That's sick.
Sometimes people also think that they're on key because they don't have the hearing thing. But they'll hear someone else that's off key and be like, oh, that's off key. It's so weird. It's so inside your head.
Yeah. And then there's people who sing up in their nose, right? In their nasal.
Yeah, you need to resonate when you're singing.
You're supposed to sing from your stomach.
Yeah, like, usually when I sing, I hold here, like, kind of close to my diaphragm area.
While you're singing?
Yeah, just to kind of control my breathing, too. To make sure that I'm not going, like, all the way down, you know? So I need to, like, control my breath so that when I'm breathing in, I'm using enough air. Not too much, not too little. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. Jeez. All right, so let's give me three. So you said the top one, like, well, your inspiration growing up with Whitney Houston. Give me two more top singers in your world.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. I think Michael Jackson is one of the greatest of all times. But, like, I don't know if I'll put him in, like, a top singer, though, for some reason. I feel like he's just overall great. Like, the singing, the dancing, the performance, he's just great. But in terms of vocals, I don't know if I could put him beside Whitney Houston. No?
I think that I like them for different reasons.
Okay.
Like, I like Whitney Houston because she's able to hit those high notes. But I like Michael Jackson for the way that he finesses his voice and, like, maneuvers around what he has. That's what's important to me. Because you can't push yourself to be something that you're not.
Talking heavy. All right, so one more. Would you put Mariah Carey up there?
I listen to a lot of Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
So I do. I feel like I would say Tina Turner.
Tina Turner, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because of the grit. She's very able to use, well, she was
Yeah.
very
R.I.P.
able.
She just died the other
Yeah,
day.
I was really
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's.
Whose phone is that? Yeah. You said.
I'll fix that thing before you just fix it.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's gonna keep coming off, I might just leave it off, bro.
It's not. It's just because I got that call.
Oh my gosh, it's season.
I don't know how to make. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you saying about Tina Turner?
Yeah, Tina
R.I.P.
Turner.
Yeah.
She has like a lot of emotion in her voice that I feel like that really separates her from other artists. Because especially like What's Love Got to Do with It? That's
Classic.
Like, yeah. I mean, like the story behind that too. Like she was abused.
You're right. You're right. You
She
can hear the passion in her voice.
Like the grit too. Like even Aretha Franklin too. Her live performances were even better than her studio versions. I think there's one. It was "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman," but it was performed in front of like Obama. Yeah, and like.
Okay, give me one more male. I'm hearing bare females right now.
Okay. Male.
Yeah.
Like, for art, I like Chris Brown for male.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yo! No? You feel that? You give me that singing energy today. I feel like, I feel like a singer right now. No, but like that Yo track, this is the best track, no?
Yeah.
What's your best Chris Brown
by
track?
him, I'd say maybe Fine China.
Fine China?
Yeah. It's alright, I'm not dangerous. In your mind, I'll be generous. You're irreplaceable, a collectible, just like fine China.
She's like, that's a run still. How are you with runs? I love hearing runs. I think that's one of my favorite part of music. Do you try to like make sure you put that in all your
That's why I
tracks?
feel like Chris Brown is like most like myself, like in a male version.
Yeah, he does a lot of runs. Yeah?
It's like a lot of depth. Like I need a lot of depth in my music. I need a lot of space, like in the beat, which I'm really blessed. Like I have really good producers, because I want a lot of harmonies, a lot of just ad libs. But what I like to do with the harmonies that's like I find different than other artists that maybe he does is like I'll have a regular melody. I'll do a harmony that's higher and I'll do a harmony that's lower. But on those harmonies, I'll put harmonies on them. So I'll take it up even more and even lower. So and I'll just like go in the background and do some like weird stuff. I try to just let it flow, but like I always let it sound right. So I don't say, oh, I'm gonna do exactly this. I kind of play the track over and over and over, and I kind of feel it out. And then I press record. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, it's gone.
For sure. Are you a tough critic with yourself?
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
It has to, like, my vocals have to sound good. Like, if I hear one thing off, which again comes back to the hearing, I'm like, no. It needs to be trashed and redone.
You ever tried like rapping or anything else, or you just want to stick to like this R&B?
I like melodic rapping.
Melodic? Yeah?
Yeah.
Melodic, kind of like what your man does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of my tracks too, like In Love, I'm like melodic rapping.
So you like Lil Durk?
Yeah. I love rappers, and I really like. I listen to all music. Like I'm good with hip hop. I'm good with obviously R&B. I don't really like pop, but I mean, like I think Lil Durk is really cool because he transcends different genres. Like he did a track that like had a country singer in it. And like, I think that kind of stuff.
I like
is
country
really cool.
still. There's a 1-2 country that hits still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to.
Just everything. I also listen to like Armenian and Arabic music. And then I also listen to like Italian music, so it really just depends. I listen to everything.
You listen to the dance hall, like the
Yeah,
what do you call like the soul, like the love is? What do you call those kind of reggae, like the soft reggae? Yeah, like those soft reggae.
yeah, and I'm good too, like the kind of like Wizkid,
Mm.
Nima, those type
Mm-hmm.
of artists.
You ever
But
you ever stepped into those fields and those kind of different
I
things?
haven't, no.
Okay, something you plan on
Um,
doing?
Maybe not for me. It depends,
No.
like maybe like a backing vocal or like maybe a chorus,
Uh-huh.
but kind of like maybe like what Selena Gomez did with like Calm Down.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So you wouldn't even do it
just
for fun,
depends.
like just to try it
I
out?
would do it for fun, but I don't know about like a whole track,
Track. Okay.
you know,
Okay. Okay.
because I feel like I don't want to box myself in too much, but I do like kind
You
of
have your
melodic.
lane type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Even though I like to listen to that kind of music,
Yeah.
like all types of music,
Yeah.
I also want
You
to
know.
limit myself in some
Yeah.
ways,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
It
so
was
I
good to
don't.
know your lane too. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
But when you just have a good voice, I feel like you just have a good voice.
yeah,
Though. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah. Like
Yeah.
people hit me up like, "Oh, you should do EDM." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'll do it."
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. 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 You have a performance coming up, June 23rd,
Mhm.
right? What's that like? What's that gonna? You ready for that? You have what's to be expected for people that are coming out?
So I have some released tracks, and I have some unreleased tracks that I'm thinking of performing.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna be performing,
Okay.
and yeah, basically, like super chill. Like I like my music to be very like I like my music to be very calm. Like I don't want you to hear my music and feel all, like too energized. I like to mellow people out with my music. I kind of want people to like drive and listen to my
Yeah.
music, or like
Yeah.
you're hanging out with like someone you like, you're listening to my music. I like to make my music really positive, so there's that too.
Do you have like a go-to track that no matter when or where you perform, like you got to do that one? You feel like that's the
For
crowd's gonna like that
me,
one?
for me that's love.
Love.
I like that one because I have not only do I have like R&B vibes to it, I also have like melodic rap, which I like in the second verse, which I normally like to do. Like I normally like to pick it up at the second verse
Yeah.
because people's attention span are pretty low, especially
Yeah, especially
recently.
nowadays.
So I
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
like
yeah. It
keep
needs
it
to be
mellow,
for sure short
and
and
then
spicy.
yeah,
For sure, for sure.
yeah.
The
So
music video one that you dropped, what's that
yeah,
one called?
that's thinking.
Thinking. How
Yeah,
do you feel about that one? That's my favorite one
that's
right
my
now.
least.
That's your least favorite?
It's
Why?
crazy. I don't know. Like all the music that I beat myself up on, other people hear it, they're like,
Love,
"What
yeah.
do you mean? It's
It's
like the
usually
best
like
thing I've
that.
heard." I'm like,
It's usually like
"What?
that.
That's
Usually like that.
crazy."
Yeah. Well, like why? Even the music video guys look like you're having fun. Like I feel like it brings out the vibe even more.
Yeah,
Like
no, it's good.
I
It's
love
good.
it.
I
I
like
love
it.
it.
I think I like the melodies in it. I think the lyrics could have been better. That's my one.
But you know
So
what? Nowadays, like me, I feel like lyrics are important, but to the general population, nobody even probably remembers what you said.
that's true.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's mostly about a catchy hook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If the bars or the lyrics are gonna be strong, should be in the hook because that's the part that people are gonna be repeating a lot. Like you know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't beat myself up too much about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm just very hypercritical.
No, for
I'm
sure,
very
for sure,
hypercritical.
for sure. It's probably why you're so talented, right?
Thank you.
No, that's dope. That's dope. All right, all right, all right. What advice do you have for a young artist out there that's looking at you, that's looking at you as a role model, like wants to follow your footsteps, wants to be like you one day? What advice can you give them in becoming a singer one day?
That's a good question. I think like I started off by posting covers. I think finding your sound, like first you need to know what music you like to listen to, and then you need to know what music you like to sing. Because sometimes you like to listen to certain music, but you don't like to sing it. So you need to be able to distinguish between the two. And once you find out like what you like to sing, just record a
Interesting. So you're
cover,
saying there's things that you
like
like to
acoustic.
listen to that you don't like to sing. How? I feel like whatever you like hearing, that's what you want to sing, no?
Like for me, I like hearing country sometimes, but I would never get on a country track, you know, because maybe my voice, like the cadence of my voice and stuff, doesn't match that of someone singing country. So I feel like I couldn't do it.
What about like music from your ethnicity,
Yeah,
like Middle Eastern?
that I could do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you good at that? Do you like that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That I love
I
that.
feel like you should do a track. What
Yeah,
language do you speak?
I would do Arabic, Armenian, and
Arabic,
English.
Armenian. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of like a trilingual track.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna show you a
Language.
track after. I think you should do a track like in your language
Yeah,
and drop it. Still,
yeah,
it'll be hard.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my favorite thing, especially because like my communities are very supportive.
Mm.
There's a lot of like really popping people
Yeah,
that
yeah,
are,
yeah,
yeah, and basically like we try to support each other, you know, because like we had a genocide and stuff,
yeah.
so
Yeah, yeah,
it's still not really recognized by the ones who did it. But I mean, like, that's the thing, like, it's really hard too, because like my blood is Armenian, but my blood is also Turkish because of the mixture. So it's like, you know,
for sure.
you're like the
But you seem to claim Armenian.
yeah, like I
If you
claim
had to pick a flag to wave, only one, what are you picking?
it's hard for me.
You have to.
I
You have
can't.
to pick one.
I don't know. I honestly just go by like the place because for me like it's hard because especially like my my grandparents were born in different places,
Yeah.
but they spoke Armenian, but their last name is like Turkish and Armenian. So it's like, and when they speak Arabic, Armenian, and Turkish all in one. So it's hard for us because we're just very mixed. Like in the Philippines, it's a similar situation going on. Like they're mixed, like Spanish, Asian, and like black. So that's why they look different because they're a group of mixed people,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
onto themselves. So you have like my family especially that's like so mixed. It's really hard to like say exactly what you are. Because especially like if I go to Armenia, not a lot of people like look like me, and they'll like tell me like, oh, what do you mix with? Like why do you look like that? So I kind of just have to, it kind of explain myself, you know. So I feel like it's better for me to just claim the whole thing because that's what happened, you know. And it's pretty deep, like especially with my family, where they moved, where they lived. Like I know with my fiance, like we're the same. He's the same because especially Haiti, it's like when you're dealing with communities with diaspora, there's a lot of moving around. So you kind of forget like where you fully came from, but you know who you are now. And you know what you're made of. But
For sure.
it's hard, you know.
For sure. All right. So you said the advice you said was do covers. What else?
I would say like, yeah, do covers. Also record yourself.
Record yourself.
Just singing. Like it doesn't have to be super special. Like the first video I ever posted was a cover of XXX, like the one that we just saw. Yeah, and it like blew up because it was an unreleased song, and I did a cover, and people wanted to hear the song, so they just were like desperate, like looking up his songs. I was like, okay. I posted it, and then it got like a lot of views, like 75,000, especially for like a grade 11.
Wow.
I was like,
That's big.
that's crazy, you know.
So just like record yourself. Don't be scared to record yourself. And you're saying put it out there. Record yourself to hear yourself. Just put it out there.
I mean, like the first time I had ever made a video of me singing, I must have been like 10. And I did like a Celine Dion song. And I think, what was
Classics.
it? It was from the Titanic movie.
Classic.
Yeah, so I was singing My Heart Will Go On.
Yeah.
And then I posted it.
Yeah.
And it originally like was doing really well. Like I was shocked. It was like doing numbers for a 10-year-old. And then I told people at school, I'm like, my video's popping. Like it's all good, whatever. And I showed them, and then I didn't know it at the time, but like people in my school were like making fake accounts and like going on my video being like, you're ugly, you suck, blah blah blah.
Haters.
So like I saw it and I was like crying to my mom, and my mom's like, well, delete the video. And I was like, and then I regretted it after because I was like, that's a piece of myself that I completely lost to a feeling that I should have never felt. So after that, I was like, no, I'm going to be myself always and just improve myself, obviously, but never be ashamed of who I am.
For sure.
Period. Like,
period.
Yeah.
I hear you. Let's talk a little bit about relationship. What's your status like right now?
I'm engaged.
You're engaged. Wow. Okay. Woo. You're trying to blind me right now. How do you feel? How's it feel being engaged?
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, like, I always tell people, like, yeah, I'm engaged.
Mhm.
Like, you're engaged? How old are you?
Yeah, I was about to say, how old are you, if you don't mind me
Yeah,
asking?
22.
Wow. Engaged
Yeah.
at 22. You have a lot of jealous girls out here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Cause I remember this girl. She went to another girl that was engaged, and she's like, "Oh, you're only same thing." The girl was young. You're only like 20 something, and you're
Oh,
engaged. And
yeah.
she was like mad about that. That she
Yeah.
was older, and she didn't have
I
no man
actually
out here.
worked for this company when I first got engaged.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I went back to work and I was like, oh, like, I'm engaged. And instead of, like, being really, really happy and whatever, like, they were happy. But then I heard peers, like, just in general, being like, they were, like, 30, 40 years old, being like, they're so young.
Yeah.
They're so young. But
Yeah.
then they were single.
Of
Like,
course.
still, like, at
Yeah,
that
they're
age.
mad.
And
They're
I was
big mad.
like, okay, well,
Yeah.
like my first of all, the
Yeah.
only thing I care about is my parents. Really, like if they were to be like, "Oh, you're too young," and even then I would be like, oh, "It's too bad."
Yeah.
But like that's the only opinion that I care about is like my family.
Let me ask you something, cause
So
I feel like nowadays girls like unless I've interviewed a lot of girls so far. And a lot of them say they don't care about the marriage thing right now, right?
really,
Yeah, right? That's my reaction, right?
yeah,
Because I remember when I was younger, like, that used to be top priority in girls. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, one day I'm going to get married. But nowadays it seems like girls don't even want
yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
When you were a child, is that something you seen yourself like, I'm going to be married one day, I'm going to have a family? Is that like a Disney
Always,
World imagination thing you had in your
always.
head?
Yeah, like I think it's maybe the way that my parents raised me.
Mm.
Like my parents are still together. They're
Mm.
gonna be like 27 years of marriage
Wow,
together.
wow, wow, wow.
And like my mom was really young when she met my dad.
Okay,
So like my
okay.
dad was like 24. I think my mom was maybe like my mom was not no. My mom was 19 and my dad was like 23. Okay, so age year gap
Yeah.
their year okay, their age
Yeah,
gap
yeah.
is 4 years. So basically, yeah, like I said, like my mom, she kind of like quit school and then she went back.
Yeah.
She prioritized my dad like 100%. She's like, I want a family, like I want to be married,
yeah,
and you know, like you're smart, I'm smart, like
Let's do this.
you know, and they loved each other too. So I feel like it was the way that I was raised. Like my
So do you feel
parents
like
raised
seeing
me.
seeing that as an example is what brought you to where you're at today?
Yeah, yeah.
And growing up with both parents too, that's a big thing too, right?
Yeah, like
Like
it's
keeps you stable, mentally stable somewhat, I find.
yeah, like you see your parents together.
Yeah.
Even like when they fight, you
Yeah.
still see the fact that they're willing to like work it out. So that makes you the type of person where it's like I
But
can-
also, it does depend on the parents, because I have seen a girl that grew up with her dad, and she still has daddy issues, but that's because her relationship with the dad
of course.
isn't there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I mean, that's something that also, like, I think a lot of kids and parents, like, deal with that a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because the thing is that, like I said before, I'm a lot like my dad, so we would, like, clash a lot. And then even sometimes maybe with my mom. Because sometimes when your parent, let's say one parent doesn't like a quality in your other parent, but you have kids, like,
Yeah.
your kids are going to be the embodiment
Yeah,
of
yeah,
both parents.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, I don't know, let's say I have an attitude problem. Let's say one of my parents has an attitude problem,
Yeah.
and the other parent doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm going to learn it from somewhere, right?
For sure.
So you can be very nitpicky on, like, what you like or don't like.
For sure.
But I think that at the end of the day, what my parents really taught me, like, true love. Like, my parents
That's
are...
dope. That's
My
dope.
parents taught me, like, no matter how hard anything gets, no matter, like, what is thrown in your way, you will be able to, like,
Overcome
just,
it.
overcome it.
What-
Like,
what
you
do-
don't have a choice.
What do you have to say to like girls who don't believe in marriage or don't believe in love? Like, what advice? What words do you have to say to them?
I feel like Because it's not only girls too, like it's some men too. Like I remember
But
when I
let's
was
start with the girls though.
okay.
Yeah.
For girls, I mean, I would say like if you're someone who doesn't want to be married or like you don't want kids, like that's your choice, right? Like we're given free
For sure,
will.
for sure.
So
But you're talking to a female right now. She doesn't believe in love and she doesn't believe in marriage. Like, how can you
I'm asking her what she bases
encourage
that
her?
on.
What can you say to her to make her think or feel different?
I'm gonna ask her what she bases
Based on that,
that
like, where's
on.
that coming from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, like, there's for every action, for every behavior, there's always a why
Okay.
and a reason.
Okay.
So I want to know the reason. Like, who hurt you? Because most times it's like a lot of people get hurt, and then they're like, no, like, I don't want to. Because I know, like, I'm that character too sometimes where I'm like, this isn't working. Like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like, but then you think about it and you're like, are you really going to be like a bitch?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
go.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you don't have a choice. Well, you have a choice.
yeah.
But for me, it's like, I'd rather just push forward. Like,
Yeah,
I don't have
yeah.
time to look back.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really don't have time.
So what if that's the reason? The girls come to you and say, honestly, the nigga broke my heart and I gave him my all and like I don't think I could do it to another guy anymore. Like I'm done. Like what would be your advice to her?
Like, I feel like, honestly, at that point, if you're heartbroken, you have to, like, also understand, like, that you're worth something. And that just because one person didn't work out doesn't mean that somebody else will.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to be having so many relationships where you become scarred and like there's those type of issues. You want to make good decisions. So like have standards for yourself, you know?
Okay,
Like if you know, like I think the biggest issue too, like when I was dating as well,
Yeah.
was like I would like be talking to a guy
Yeah.
and those like I knew what I wanted. Females do this a lot. We know what we want, but we don't want to come off as pushy. So we avoid certain conversations like, do you want kids? Do you want marriage? With my parents, the first day that my dad met my mom,
Yeah.
my dad was like, they were in a university cafeteria. My dad saw my mom and was like, wow, she's beautiful. So he goes up to her, he sits down, like my mom's alone. And he like looks at her and he's like, are you from here? Like, do you want kids? Like, what religion are you? Where are you from? Like just asking her all these questions. Like, this is my dad.
Yeah.
Like, do you believe in marriage? Do you whatever? And I was like, yeah. Like answering, right?
Yeah.
And so my mom at first was like, what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
So she gave him her number. And then he called her and like, they started talking and then they realized like they have the same values, you know? And like my dad had met people, my mom had met people that weren't like that. So I think the biggest thing is like when you meet someone, you have to ask them, like, do you believe in marriage? Like, first off.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, I'm not talking to you. Like it's done from there. You know, like do you even like kids? If I want kids and you don't like kids, are you willing to change? If not, no, I can't.
Exactly. Okay,
like, and it's harsh. It's harsh.
Yeah.
And I don't like to be like, oh, like high and mighty because I'm not. It's just
You're saying
not the person for me.
standing on your standards and your value will most likely protect you from later heartbreak.
Yeah, but you also have to account for the fact that people can lie. You know, so you have to like see, like observe them. Do they actually like kids? Like how are they? How do they talk about kids? How do they talk about like elderly people? Which I feel like is a big thing for me. Like when I was like, I want to meet a guy, it's like this guy has to like kids. Like he has to like kids because if I'm gonna have a child with a man, how are you not gonna like kids? Like what are you gonna do? Throw your kid? Like you don't like kids, right? Like some people they openly, which it's fine, don't like kids. But sometimes I have conversations with people. They're like, I hate kids. I can't stand kids. And then I'm like, okay. It's like, I hate them. I want to take them and shake them. I'm like, why? They're like 3 years old and they didn't do anything to you. I never understood that.
What's the number? CAA when you're calling? You call it
CAS?
Yeah.
Child Protective Services, CPS.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, well then you better not have kids if you like hate kids that much, right?
Yes.
Like it's like if I say like I hate cats, and like let's say I said like, oh, you know, I want to whatever, like yeah, I want to get rid of this cat. Like, why
sure.
would I then buy a cat? Like, it
For
doesn't
sure,
make
for
sense.
sure, for sure, for sure.
You know, so
Yeah,
I think your standards need to be clear in the
I like
beginning.
that. Keep your standards clear. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. In a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's a woman's role? What can a woman do to prevent her man from being disloyal, or like, what's your part in the relationship on keeping that relationship strong?
I think like disloyalty, like on either side. If the person that you're with is disloyal, they're not worth your time.
Okay,
So you just need to cut it.
okay. That's out of it.
Like-
Now, what's a woman's role?
Like, I would say though that a lot of cheating does stem from actually not even physical, it's more emotional, because on both sides, if a woman or a male feels like I don't have enough attention, or I feel like a lot of it comes from insecurity and not being reassured enough. So it puts that person, I mean, they're already in the mindset to cheat. So it's like you either are a cheater or you're not. But the cheaters, typically, they're like, oh, well, he doesn't pay attention to me. I put on a new dress and he doesn't notice. Those kind of things. So it's like in a relationship, just make sure that you're dating your partner still, Like, don't get comfortable. Like, you're still dating your partner. Like, you're still supposed to be, like, in love. Like, I know that for me, I take things very seriously. So recently I've been, like, kind of, like, you need to chill out. You're 22. And, like, you need to stop being so serious, because for me, I get very serious, and like OCD, I stress on like little stuff. So I'm like, recently, I'm like, I gotta just chill.
Yeah.
But with loyalty, it's either you're a cheater or you're not. Like, I'm not wired that way, right? Like, if I wasn't feeling someone,
Okay.
I'd just be like, look, I don't like you, and like, it's done.
It's done. Yeah.
I'd rather someone say that to me than cheat on me,
cheat on
because
you.
like, I don't want to deal with you leaving, plus I get heartbroken, because now you ruin my trust for people or for men, right? So like, at least break my heart, but don't ruin my trust for people. So that's kind of like how I outweigh the
Can you
situation.
forgive that?
Forgiving cheating? Never. No. That's like no.
Okay.
You literally have one job, and that's not to do that. So if you do it, like, it's your fuck up.
Okay. All right, so forget the cheating now. In a relationship, what's a man's role and what's a woman's role?
Okay.
Through the pain, through the struggle, if you try and reach, then you gon' pull a muscle. I did it all for the hustle, tryna ball, build, wrestle. Through the pain, through the heat, I can't take it, too much pain in these streets. I did it all for my peeps, I did it all in these streets.
Had a lot of pain in me, now I got these chains on me. Think my legs gave out the way I keep this cane on me.